What's up, it's your boy Dequan. Welcome back to the channel. So for today we have the Leave No Trace version of the build remixed into a terror version of the setup. We call this anywhere from like Stealth Bomber to Disco for the original, and then for this one it seems like Panic at the Disco Flak is going to be the perfect one for this, and we're rocking the lump. So the lump shoots out, it's a little disco ball of death and destruction. That's why we're going to call it the disco ball, and then it is terror, so panic, terror. Everything works out really well. So for those that did see the Leave No Trace version of this build, I'll go ahead and do like a quick overview of the things that we did end up changing, so that way you guys can take a look at the gameplay. There is a small change to a tree as well that you guys can hop over and look at. Timestamps for everything are in the description below, so that way you can get all the relevant information that's relevant to you relatively fast, and then just look at whatever other things that you do want to look at. So let's look at the changes first. So we're rocking the rerouter, of course, and this one has ammo regeneration on it if you are terrified. So you do want this, as well as a reoccurring will work out better. Modifier works out pretty decently, or a cloning hex grenade. Let me show you guys the cloning hex if you're not, well, not clone hex, the cloning hunter seeker is what I really wanted to say. So the cloning hunter seeker is going to work out really well. Also, it's able to work out better than the Modifier as well as the reoccurring hex from my experience with the grenades, but I do not have one that applies terror to myself. So we're using this as well as fade away inside this build setup as soon as fade away disappears, because you're only using the 3-shot variation of this, so you'll be able to get your terror to apply relatively smooth, and it has a nice little ramp up. There's a snowball where you'll be able to get your ammo back. You'll be able to get your ammo back from the ammo portion of this shield right here. So you want either ammo regeneration on your grenade or on your rerouter. You can also have it on your weapon. If you do end up running the ammo on the lump, you're going to leave quite a bit of damage on the table. Just look for things that relate to damage, anything from splash damage to your weapon damage end, or even the magazines will work out well. While Terrified Projectile also does work well for the lump. This is a world job. You're able to find it inside of vending machines, inside of Sanctuary, and a whole bunch of other spots. Works out super well. And the higher roll for this will probably be about 6,900. I don't have one that's 6,900 right now, but it can go up quite a bit higher. So this isn't even the best lump that you get from the blue and purple. So this is the class mod that we're running right now, rocking the friend bot. This is going to keep our pet alive and be able to regenerate it. You can either run this or the class mod right here. This is the epic for the Leave No Trace. This is what we're running inside the old one. Both work out super well. The epic class mod is a little bit smoother, while the friend bot gives a little bit more damage. And you also get an additional substat spot. So if you do find one with weapon charge speed, shield recharge rate, and then some type of damage rolls are going to be your best bets for these class mods right here. If you do end up not running Leave No Trace as the class mod, you might run into some small pockets that you won't have your ammo back. It doesn't really happen too often, it's just something to be aware of. It does happen sometimes if you are running the additional damage class mod. So just finishing off this mobbing portion of the build, we're rocking this artifact right here, which is the Flesh Melter. Flesh Melter is going to let you get the most damage boost out of your corrosive element. Corrosive is one of the better elements to use right now because Elemental Projector only gives you 90% damage boost, while the Flesh Melter gives you 35% more and 125% damage with the Flesh Melter itself. So rocking this is going to work out really well. Rolls that you're going to look for, basically the same thing that you look for your class mods, something along the lines of shield recharge rate, different damage rolls in terms of like area effect, even torque, or something along the lines of slash damage. And then cooldown reduction could help out also. We don't have any cooldown reduction in this build at all from the setup that I do have right now, and it works out very well, oddly enough. So you can run something like this, and then Elemental Projector we're going to use for the bossing portion of the build, which we'll hop to right now. We are still going to be a Luda build for killing Graveward. You can use another gun, but it's just going to end up being a bit slower, unfortunately. So you see right here, we're using the Unescapable Sellout as well as the Luda to melt through the enemies. Works out super well. Make sure you do have your Bounty Hunter mod on that allows you to get some extra damage when you are fighting bosses. In situations where you have really poorly rolled mods, you can run a crit swap setup. This means that you're using an Unforgiven as well as a Scourge. It's been around for a little bit, shouldn't be anything too innovative. For crit swap, you just shoot out something with a slow moving projectile and then switch to something with a high crit value. The crit value applies to the slow moving projectile of the other gun. Just wrapping up the gear real quick, feel free to use a different gun inside of one of these slots, some like a Skexel, some like a more lineage, something like a Unforgiven works out relatively well, which we just showed with the crit swapping. A Maggie or some type of shotgun works out well also. This is just a setup that we typically use in order to mow down anything inside the slaughter shaft and also bosses as well. Shouldn't run into any issues whatsoever with this build setup. As long as Randy doesn't hit us with a super duper insane curveball. This should be one of the best Flak builds out there right now. So let's look at the skills for you guys and we'll wrap up. We're gonna go over the skill trees real quick. Super smooth, super simple. This is a Megavore crit Flak tree basically. So for those that are unfamiliar with it, this is just a min-max version of it. We take this to max out our HP and regen. This maxing out our damage. In the case where we have our pet able to stay alive using the friend bot, we put 1 point into here. If we're not able to keep the pet alive relatively well and we're using the leave no trace setup, we put 1 point into all my BFFs. And that's the swap that you can end up making inside the setup. This is just security and really good for 1 point. You already know what this does. Gun damage, damage reduction, everything that you do want in the setup. Movement speed is very vital inside this build and we get a little bit more damage. And this is more damage. 9 times out of 10 we're going to be invisible. And we're not really going to be close enough to really draw aggro from the enemy because we are shooting at about mid to long range with our lump most of the time for mobbing. Then running until you're dead is going to give us a nice little speed boost as well as health regeneration from fadeaway. And then we have on blink your eye, the critical hits are going to stack up really well with the lump or any other gun inside the setup. Give us a ton of damage. Red tree is pretty simple as well. We're just adding some more damage. We're in player Terry Stalker. Leave no trace is going to allow us to get our ammo back. Basically the start of the show. Head count is going to give us very good cooldown reduction. In conjunction with the lump and the beams that proc off of this, it's going to work out very smoothly. Allow us to stay invisible most of the time. Two Fang, extra projectile means that these two are going to get procced a bit more, as well as going to add a little bit of extra damage, but that's not really super duper vital. More damage, as well as more damage over here. This is cool, worth the 1 point. Going to keep the targets off of us a little bit when we are out of invisibility, which just works in synergy with everything else that we do have. We added a little bit more damage instead of going for a little bit more reload speed because we barely reload ever. I believe inside of the whole slaughter shaft, no, I didn't reload at all. I don't think inside the slaughter shaft run. And then Megavore, more critical hit chance means that we're going to get more leave no trace procs as well as more head count procs. I'm just running this pet. If you do feel like you are dying at all, you can just run the damage reduction one. This number should be higher because we do have friend bot on. Yeah, so if you are dying at all, you can just run the Spider-Man Countess if you feel like you need it, or you can just run the Spider-Man Scorcher. And that's basically it. That is the build. Why did we turn? Okay, never mind. That's the build. If you guys have any questions at all about the build, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. I want to say a quick thank you to everybody that has been liking the video as well as subscribing to the channel. This helps out quite a bit from what I know about doing YouTube for a very short amount of time, but it helps out the channel quite a bit, and I want to say thank you of course to you guys helping out. The rest of the video does have slaughter shaft gameplay attached to it. Unfortunately, the audio machine at McDonald's decided to not work, so it ended up sounding like extremely scuffed and distorted. So I just cut out the audio so that way you guys can still jump around and see what the build runs like inside of extreme conditions, and then in normal type of conditions it just melts through. It's not really anything difficult at all. But that's it for me. I'm outie.